Hey, good evening. My name is Brother Francis E. Revels Bey. I'm the founder of the Circle of Grace One. It was established in 1974 and came to a full effect on July 2nd, 1999. Uh, I'm here to share some information with you about books that I have written and courses that I am writing. Many of you may not know, I am the originator of the 5 point creative pathwork system. This is a special uh, internet online intensive training program. And our first series of this will begin on Wednesday evening, August the 25th, every other Wednesday night, right up until October the 20th. Now, there are 5 classes, but in addition to that, in between those classes will be additional class where you'll be able to tweak the 5 points. And I'm going to show you how you can utilize each one of these individually. Now, many people know about prayer, people know about, affirmations, but I'm going to show you how to really focus in on them so that when you use an affirmation, it becomes more powerful for you. The vibration will be in you when you use an affirmation. I'll teach that also the same way when you're utilizing prayers and why emotions are very, very important when you're doing a prayer, whether you're feeling it silently or speaking it verbally. Then I'm going to talk about affirmative prayers, and you're going to learn how those work so you can give yourself spiritual treatment. And you can also assist other people with spiritual treatments. And then I'm going to also tell you and teach you how to make your meditation sessions when you are seated by yourself, how you can make those meditations more potent for yourself. And then the fifth point I'm going to bring into play is decrees. And when you use spoken word energy in your decrees, you will then find your meditations blossoming, your affirmations blossom, you unfold better into your affirmative prayers, and hopefully I'll get you to a point where you could go into a very deep meditation, feel the vibration coming up in yourself, and then speak fluidly and freely with affirmations or affirmative prayers or decrees. So, this course is a very important course. Now, people may ask, well, what does it cost? Well, it costs about $500. However, there's a lot of bonus material that you will receive, and you'll even receive summary material at the end of the entire course. Now, what I also want to share with you is I am working on other courses. Now, that 5 point creative pathwork system is my trademark system, signature system. But I have others that I'm putting together, and it's going to be very, very interesting. Now, many of you may not realize that I've been studying numerology since 1974. Yep, I've been involved in numerology since 1974 and a whole bunch of other topics like tarot basics 1, 2, 3. I have a course with that. I have understanding your dreams. I have many, many more. And I'm working on a special meditation course as well. But let me share some of the books that I have here. And I think it would be quite interesting. Many people ask me, how did you get into this? Who was your spiritual teacher? Well, my late biological mother, by the name of Grace, that's why you see Grace here behind me, she was my first spiritual teacher. So that's why this is called the Circle of Grace One. Okay. And one of the things I came up with, my very first book, Dancing in the Light of Divine Grace. I originally wrote this book in 2004. Then I revised it in 2017. So the original book had about 22 chapters. And then I added 12 more chapters because I was living here in the Southwest. And it so happened that my late mother, who was my first spiritual teacher, she gave me what was called a prophetic life reading. And she was the one that told me back on Long Island in 1979 that Long Island is really not my home. I just came by way of my mom and my dad, her and my father, came into this earthly plane. in March of 1952, but I would eventually transport, move, relocate permanently to Albuquerque, New Mexico. So this book talks about some of the many experiences, and some of them were traumatic experiences that I had in my life. But this book explains that, and it gives you in detail some of those main experiences that I had. That lots of other people may go through similar experiences. So this book is on Amazon.com. You can get this book as a paperback for $25, or you could buy it as a Kindle ebook for $8.88. So you should look into this and see if this is a book for you. Now, there were two channeled books that I came out with, and I had no idea that I was going to be writing these books coming in through me, up through me out of my genetic structure, and be able to put them in book form. So the very first one, the first and the second book, I should say, has to go back into ancient Kemetic times with Akhenaten and Nefertiti. And I felt that there was a connection. And many of us on the planet do have some past life connections with a lot of these interesting historical people. Well, this book came about. It's called The Wisdom of Akhenaten as I Am. And I am relates to the divine presence within all of us that we might refer to God or Krishna or Buddha or whoever, but we feel that connection that's strong, right? And so this book talks about those teachings specifically that I remember. And in his first chapter is called Silence, and he talks about how you have to go inside, deeply inside, and sit in quietness to receive information coming from your higher self, right? And that's your higher self is that part of yourself that is connected to the infinite divine source, and we all have one. And then he speaks about in chapter 2, he calls it the open door, that you yourself become the open door once you go inside and you connect silently with your higher self. And then he goes on in chapter 3, he talks about the illusions that come up with the ego. And he refers to the ego as the miscreated ego and why it's such. And then he has a special chapter in there, chapter 6, called The Path of the Cobra. And this is a remembrance. This is like an initiation. And so if you were ever to get this book, you would find that you will have a connection why the Kundalini energy. And when you see the pharaohs having the cobras on top of their headdress, then you might realize, hey, were they using Kundalini energy, the serpentine energy? And they were. They also used selenite back in the day in those temples as well. And there's a couple of chapters, one or two chapters in here about selenite and my connection in terms of a multi-universe past life connection to them when they gave me a special name. I'm not going to mention the name now. I don't want people to think I'm getting egotistical about that. Okay. So, but you might want to get this book, The Wisdom of Akhenaten, and it may trigger something inside of you. Maybe you were there in your remembrance. Maybe you have a connection as well. And then you will start remembering the Pacific teachings that you're doing right now, because that's what this book is all about. And then in the last chapter, he calls it the gift of the blue flame. And that's why I'm wearing blue. He connects you to the great central sun, which he and Nefertiti call Sirius, right? So the star, the blue star, Sirius, is the great central sun. And that's what they were calling out to. That's where they remember that, that they have their special connection with. So it's a very interesting book. This book, it has a Kindle format of $7.77, but the paperback version sells for $11.11. Then, and this book, the first book was written initially, this one was written initially in 2004, updated 2017, and updated a little bit more 2018, and it arrived on Amazon at that time, Amazon.com. In his book, showed up. It took 3 months to pull all this information up from within myself, the remembrance. It took 3 months. Nothing is written on paper, went straight to the computer, straight into the Amazon publishing um, frame, I'll say, okay, platform. And so as a paperback, it's $11.11. In the next couple of months, I'm going to be securing copies of these books. So you'll be able to purchase books from me as well for the same exact price. Now, if you want the Kindle, then you'll have to go to Amazon for the first two books. Now, that book was completed by October of 2018. And then I was doing a deep meditation, and around February 2019, I got a message from beloved Nefertiti, who was at that time also a master teacher in the city of Amarna, which their true name for that city is Akhetaten, dealing with the sun energy. So it's like a solar temple, okay? And one of the things, excuse me for a moment here, one of the things that she called said that if I wanted to receive this as a channel message, that it would be like a gift to the world. And that's the name of the book. Nefertiti's book is called The Gift, which is the wisdom of Nefertiti as I am. As a paperback, $11.11. However, she says no more cyber books. People need to stick with the energy of a paperback book or a hardcover book because they'll have more power rather than dealing with the electronic radiation coming from a computer or their mobile phone. So this book is $11.11, and it's a companion to the Akhenaten book. So both of these books go together in actuality. And what she does in her book, she gives the pillar of light techniques, which are dealing with the blue flame energy coming from Sirius. She also takes you to the last chapter, and her gift is soul traveling. And she says a difference between astral, what we now call astral traveling, and soul traveling. So if you want to understand that and the different processes that she takes you through so that you get really clear, you should get The Gift, also on Amazon. During the same time, and that book was 2019. Now, last year, another book came to the surface. And I was originally writing this book. I was calling it anyway, The Age of Remembrance. And I was going to talk about, the uses of spiritual oils and candles, how to bless candles. I was going to talk about how you could connect using candle flames and build your energy. I was going to talk about crystals in there. I was going to talk about incense. And then all of a sudden, after doing some intense, deep walking meditation and prayer, it came to me. I have a lot of selenite here, and I've been working with selenite a long time. So after doing deep meditation, it occurred to me that the divine I am presence in selenite wanted to be heard. Now, there are a lot of books out there that talk about selenite. And I met another author, a woman, American woman, who actually had gone into the caverns in Mexico, deep into the earth, and experienced those huge shards of selenite. But selenite didn't speak to me that way. Selenite came to me in a dream way back in 1988. Now, 1988 is a universal 8 year. 8 is a number of perfection, uh, elder wisdom, ancient wisdom. It is connection of the past and the present coming through ourselves as being the gateway. It speaks of power and authority and authenticity. It's Saturn. So it's a lot of wisdom with that, right? In that year, universal year. So it came to me that I should write about selenite and my experiences with selenite and how I had to remember that the trace mineral connected to selenite that's in our bodies is called selenium. How do you spell it? Seleneunium. And selenite is Selenite. So they're both connected together. And that's what's calling us to the gemstone, the spirit that's in all things. We just think these things are little things. Here's a little bit of selenite I have by my computer. I have all kind of sizes, but I needed to take a picture for my book, and I decided to use my tabular that I have here. And after I took the picture, I realized that my tabular was loaded with guardian spirits. You see, like a profile face here. There's also other faces here, and there's also one looking right at you. See the one where the light eyebrow is, right? Light eyebrow, and there's an eye, and then there's an eye here. Then on the other side, a dark eyebrow with another eye, and a face and a mouth. Guardian energy inside the selenite, looking out. So what I decided to do is write this book. And the book is called The Age of Remembrance, The Divine I Am Presence in Selenite. And it's about my experience when I first came in touch with it in the year 1988. And over the years, what I learned about using selenite, whether I apply it to myself or I've been able to apply it to others. There's even a remembrance of a story here in Albuquerque where I used the selenite with a drum maker who was a shaman at the same time, and he had a slight injury. And our minds came together, opening up the gateways and using the selenite for him. And he never used selenite, but I used it, and we were able to pull on the force and open ourselves out, and something very beautiful happened for him within his body, within his structures of the bones that were fractured. So I talk about the experience, and I also give some experiences here when Akhenaten and Nefertiti used selenite and how they were able to bring this energy as a keynote gemstone to the surface. And many of my other guides that are around me, ancestral guides, speak, and they talk about remembrance is key. So we bring all this information into selenite, and we have an experience where selenite speaks through the divine I am presence. So I wanted to bring this across. This book on Amazon, you can get this book for just $11. There's no Kindle book though. As Nefertiti said, we have to stay away from a lot of the electronic energy, get back into the papers, look more healing for us. So that book came out in 2020. Now, the very last book I want to mention is a brand new book. And this brand new book happens to be connected to my 5-point creative pathwork system that is my trademark signature system. This book is called Decree and It Shall Be. Speak, as you see, speak as I am. You can get this book for $12 on Amazon. It's a very potent book, a small book nonetheless, however, very potent if you're into understanding. Now, the 5 points in that system in this book originally is called the 5 vessels. And I speak about each one and I show you how to use these vessels because that's what they are. They're not just points that like a top of a pyramid point or the point of a diamond or the point of an obelisk, but they are also vessels. They carry vibrations, and you have to be able to work the vibration for yourself. So if you can, if you want me to get the book for you and autograph the book for you, I can do that. All you got to do is email me at iam.circleofgrace1@gmail.com. That's iam.circleofgrace1@gmail.com. And just say, hey, Brother Francis, I'd like to send you $25 for this book, Dancing in the Light of Divine Grace. I'll send you $25 so I can get my paperback copy. Or maybe you like to get the paperback copy, the gift, all right, 11.11. Like a time, $11.11. Or maybe you want to get the wisdom of Akhenaten as I am for $11.11. You send me the money, I'll get the book and I'll autograph it for you and send it right to your residence. Maybe you want to get the Age of Remembrance, the divine I am presence in selenite, just for $11. I'll pay the postage. Hey, maybe you want the new book. Send me $12 for this new book, Decree and It Shall Be, Speak as I Am, and I'll see that you get an autographed copy. So now, if you can't remember all of that, maybe it's too much I'm saying right now. All you have to do is email me and say, hey, Brother Francis, how can I go about purchasing these books from you? And I'll give you the price for each one of the books, and then I'll autograph it. Or you can go to Amazon.com and order the books yourself. But if you want to get an autograph, then you should, you know, bring me up through an email. I send you all the information that you need, where to send your payment, and you give me about 10 days, 10, 14 days, and I'll get the book. In fact, I'm going to be placing some orders the end of August going into September for a lot of these books. So that's one of the reasons why I came on tonight. Tonight is July the 23rd. It's Leo season. I'm not a Leo. Hey, but you got the Lionsgate energy getting ready to open up toward the end of the month, and it's going to hit peak on Sunday, August the 8th. I'm excited. I hope you are too. Have a great weekend. I'm Brother Francis E. Revels Bey. I'm the founder. I'm the one who established the Circle of Grace 1 in 1974 and made it unique by 1999. I have a signature 5-point creative path work system, intensive online training course coming up online. You want to get more information, just email me at iam.circleofgrace with the number one at the end at gmail.com. Or maybe you want to get some more information about my other classes and courses online that I'm coming up with soon. I'm also working on a numerology book, so you might want to stay in touch with me. Well, you better take care of yourself. Have fun this weekend. My grace is your grace. That's what Akhenaten, Nefertiti, and my ancestors, Mother Grace and Grandma Charlotte, bring to you. Remembrance is key. Remember that divine grace is a blessing as we are alive and well in the age of remembrance. See you next time.